The movie opens in a distant future where mysterious creatures have invaded the Earth, forcing the humans to take shelter in a floating city in the sky known as SkyArk. But SkyArk didn't have enough space to harbor all the people, which resulted in a rebellion. The wealthy and corrupt took matters into their own hands and dumped the poor and the children of the rebels on a desolate Earth. Those children were given a brand or a mark for every sin their parents committed. Once on Earth, the children built the fallen camp and fought the monsters. The leader of the camp is a mid-20s looking teen named Rusty, and he feels it is his duty to give these children hope. He knows that the son of the uprising commander will be given the ultimate punishment, 13 marks. So Rusty has made up a story to tell the children that a boy with 13 marks will come and save them one day. The scene then shifts into a spaceship falling off the sky and crash lands onto a vast junkyard where Rusty's group of orphans dwell. Rusty quickly checks out the fallen ship and brings out the survivor, a boy named Rags. He asks Rags to follow him or else he'll die, and as soon as Rags steps out of the ship, something starts chasing them. They run to the makeshift base they have created using scraps from a plane. Rusty warns his camp about the monsters chasing them, and soon everybody takes position in the same location. They soon get to know that Rags has 13 marks on his arm. Rusty and the others are overjoyed, and Rusty declares that their savior has arrived and they need not fear the monsters anymore. Rags is immediately given a bow and an arrow, but Rags is confused as he can't see any monster. Just as his eyes are wandering around, a mutated humanoid with a face that looks like a mask some heavy metal bands wear comes out from behind the trash hill. Rags gets ready to shoot, and just as he is about to, gutsy archer girl Ash pushes him, and the arrow hits the monster. However, Ash calls it beginner's luck and ventures out on her own, even after Rusty warns her against it. With some cool moves, including spinning for no reason, but it looks cool, she subdues the monster and lets it go. Rags asks what those creatures are, and Lily, another gang member, explains these are the mutant monsters who live in a hive and point to an area with buildings. Rusty explains these monsters are the weakest on full moon nights, and that is when they hunt them for the blue drop, which holds the power to heal any wounds. But the monsters keep them hidden from the humans. Rusty continues and says if they have the blue drop, all their suffering and pain will end. He looks hopefully at Rags and says only he can stop this suffering by bringing the blue drop. He then asks Rags to rest for the day. Once alone, Rags takes out a crystal ball and looks at SkyArk, remembering the day some men barged into his house with his dad, who was being held at gunpoint. They asked him for some names which he refused to disclose, and as a result, he was shot dead, and Rags was sent into exile. As Rags' aircraft entered the Earth's atmosphere, he was fascinated to see what he calls energy waste. Soon his spacecraft catches fire, and he crash-landed on the dumping ground. The next morning, Rags wakes up to find all the children gathered around him with many questions, but Lily saves him from the grilling by asking him to come along. While showing him around, she teaches him how to use scraps as weapons. They lie down for a while looking at SkyArk when Rags brings out the crystal marble and shows it to Lily. He says the Earth looks like a marble from SkyArk. Lily promises to go with him to visit the beach someday to cheer him up. Lily's sister Amber and her friend Birdie are curious to see Lily's date with Rags and decide to follow them. Unbeknownst to them, a monster hiding behind the piles of garbage is watching them, and soon it attacks the two girls. Lily and Rags return to their base, where Rusty helps Rags make a hilt for his sword. Suddenly, one of the members of the fallen army, Can-Can, alerts them about monsters. They see an injured Amber limping towards the fort, and Rags rushes out to bring her back to safety. Once inside, they ask Amber about Birdie, but Amber cries and hands them Birdie's glasses, indicating that the monsters took her. Ash is upset with Rusty for lying to them about the prophecy and leaves. Rags is concerned that Amber will die if she is not treated and asks how they can save her. Rusty says only the blue drop can save her. Rags and Rusty decide to infiltrate the monster's territory and bring the blue drop. As soon as they reach one of the buildings, they walk before a female monster who can't see them well at first glance, which allows them to hide, but she soon senses them and attacks them. They retaliate and shoo her away before resuming their search for the blue drop. They again come across a fierce monster in chains who attacks them. The two take cover, and Rusty dictates a plan before saying they need to become a monster to kill a monster. While Rusty attacks him up front, Rags runs behind the monster to attack, but misses as the monster pushes him away. Rusty puts up a fight, but the monster is too strong for him, and in the end, he gets dragged by the monster. Rags tries to stop the monster by pulling on his chain, but it slips from his hands. Rags tries to chase him but freezes when he sees the dark space. Unable to bring himself to chase the monster, Rags runs back to the base where he sees Lily crying because Amber couldn't make it. As she says goodbye to Amber's belongings, she wonders if Rags will save them. Rags is overwhelmed by the guilt that he couldn't save Rusty and decides to leave. He reaches the spot where his ship landed and lets out his frustration. He feels he doesn't deserve those 13 marks and tries to erase them by rubbing a stone on them, but it only frustrates him even more. So he covers his arm with a cloth so he isn't constantly reminded that he let his friends down. Exhausted, Rags falls asleep, while another spacecraft can be seen falling from the sky at a distance. Soon, a boy approaches Rags and sleeps next to him. When Rags wakes up, he is surprised to see someone sleeping beside him and immediately takes a defensive stance. He pokes the boy's bottom with a sword, waking the boy up. Before they can talk, they hear a growl, and they both take shelter in the fallen shuttle. The boy is scared that the monsters are real after Rag tells him that that was the growl of a monster, which makes the boy fart, earning himself the name Skunk. Skunk tells Rags that he is on a mission to find the boy with 13 marks, as the children on SkyArk are waiting for him to return. He even has a camera fixed in his left eye, which records everything. Rags lies about his marks because he doesn't want to disappoint anybody else. They soon start talking, and Skunk asks Rags to teach him how to fight so he can defend himself. The way Skunk's feet wobble and his hands clumsily move make it clear that he has never held a weapon before, so Rags offers him a chance to strike from behind. Lily appears and takes this given chance, knocking him out. Rags wakes up with a splitting headache and internal bleeding probably, and sees Lily, but Lily doesn't talk to him. She proceeds to their fort with Rags and Skunk following her, and once there, Rags learns that the monsters took all the other children. Lily slaps Rags when he apologizes and calls him a traitor for abandoning his friends who harbored him when he landed. She leaves to bring the blue drop, and Rags sulks until he realizes where Lily is headed. He rushes to the hives, and Skunk follows him. They soon run into a monster who attacks them, but Ash arrives there on time and shows the monster a mirror. The monster gets scared of his reflection and runs away. Apparently, the monsters are terrified of scary faces. Rags is baffled to see her there, and the three group together to find Lily. Ash makes it clear that she will only help them to pass through the chained monster, and as they come across him, Ash fights him first and tries to grab his chains to immobilize him, but the monster is too strong for her to handle, and Rags and Skunk are not much of a help. Ash gets cornered and is about to be attacked when Rags finally steps in and kills the monster by stabbing him in the face. Ash soon leaves them, saying she doesn't kill monsters anymore. Meanwhile, Lily is hiding from a monster, but not long after, she gets captured by one and is dragged into the shadows. Only her backpack is left behind. Lily soon wakes up and stabs the female monster dragging her. The monster lets go of her, giving Lily an opportunity to run. Lily hides in the basement when another monster arrives, but she doesn't see Lily. She starts playing with a doll that Lily recognizes as Birdie's, but the monster rips off the doll's blackened face before resuming playing with it. Elsewhere, while walking around, Rags and Skunk find a sign that says SkyArk is creating monsters. It is revealed that the authorities send the children to Earth to feed them to the monsters. Rags' father and the others were fighting the authorities to stop such a barbaric practice and were not the traitors as they were declared before their children were sent to Earth. Suddenly, they hear a monster approaching, and Skunk freaks out. But Rags gives him hope by showing him the 13 marks and says he has fulfilled his mission and now they will together become heroes. They wear masks to make themselves look ugly, and when the monster arrives, they fight him together and take him down. The fight scene is unbelievable. I mean that literally. They continue their journey to find Lily and soon find her backpack, but before they can go any further, Skunk steps into a trap and is instantly pulled by the monster. Rags again proves to be incompetent and can't do anything to save Skunk. He sits there in despair, lost in his thoughts, and mindlessly opens Lily's bag. It contains all the items belonging to the fallen camp members. Suddenly filled with determination, he puts the things back in the backpack and starts looking for Lily. He soon finds himself surrounded by monsters who attack him one by one, but this time, Rags gives his all while fighting back and takes them down one by one. 2 of those were practically blind, but credit where it's due, I suppose. In the meantime, Lily has discovered that the monsters hate ugly faces, so she rubs her face with black liquid to officially start her goth phase and imitates the monster's walk while searching for the blue drop. She's on her way when she sees a shadow, and thinking it is another monster, she waits for the right time to strike and comes face to face with Rags. They are happy to finally meet each other, which makes Lily peck him on the lips. And just a few meters ahead, they find the blue drop. However, their troubles don't end there. Rusty arrives, having transformed into a monster. A sudden realization hits Rags. The blue drop doesn't possess healing powers as they initially believed. Instead, they turn children into monsters. Rags is consumed with guilt, realizing the monsters he defeated were actually the missing children who had consumed the blue drop. Suddenly, 2 monsters appear behind Rags and Lily, taking them hostage by putting blades on their necks. Rusty orders them to drink the blue liquid to put an end to their misery, but Rags throws away the liquid. As a result, the monsters get ready to strike Rags and Lily, but Ash attacks the monsters and creates a distraction. Lily and Rags free themselves and fight the monsters, but Rags doesn't kill them this time. Rusty is enraged and kills the monsters for not fulfilling the task. He attacks them, but Ash stops Rusty by attacking him. For some time, Rusty regains his conscience and tries to think straight, but his monster side regains control and attacks Lily. Rags doesn't have the strength to fight Rusty, so he uses his crystal marble and throws it tactfully so that it falls into the blue liquid and rolls back to him. He didn't feel like getting up and doing it himself. He licks the marble and starts turning into a monster. With his newfound powers, he attacks Rusty and overpowers him, but does not kill him. Instead, he encourages him to control his transformed self. But Rusty pushes Rags away, slamming him against the containers, which makes one of the huge containers on top fall on them. Rags catches hold of it right before it crushes Lily and Ash. Just then, Rusty runs towards Rags, and it seems as if he's going to attack Rags, but to everybody's surprise, Rusty starts helping Rags by lifting the heavy metal container with him. Rusty pushes Rags out of the way and sacrifices himself to save the 3. Rags rushes to Lily, who has gained consciousness, and the 2 embrace. The 3 friends make their way out and reach the other side of the area, which leads to the beach. Near the shore, Ash makes her way out from behind the rocks with Skunk. Rags and Skunk hug, overjoyed that Skunk is alive. They all sit on the beach, and Rags says the real monsters are in SkyArk, so they will be going back to finish what his dad started. Rags asks Skunk to take his mask off, and as he does, The camera in his eye recognizes 13 marks and initiates a rescue mission. Together, they stand united as jets seem to appear from SkyArk on their way to the Earth to take the heroes back to SkyArk. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.